giving us $1,000 a month, so we decided that we didn't care about his stupid fuck. I mean, not only that, it wasn't like we didn't care about his money. We didn't care about any of the money we were getting, and we knew that was going to be like a necessary consequence of burning that. So it's like our Patreon went from like $2,000 a month to like fucking $500 a month. We were like, LOL,
Yep.
that's not paying rent.
Yep. And just imagine taking fucking billionaire money on a monthly basis. Even Bernie Sanders like returned the one donation he got from like a billionaire. Remember, it was like some good-hearted billionaire that was like, I want to be a class traitor. He donated to Bernie. Bernie was like, nope, I don't want your fucking money.
Dude, and on a small scale, Eric Bunch, the guy I voted for city council, right? That I told you guys, I was like, well, I fucking helped the guy pass out flyers, but he was really like, I'm gonna make your cement better, like your sidewalks better, whatever the fuck it was, whatever. The whole like Armour Midtown neighborhood bought up the whole fucking thing. Anyway, he also returned the donation he got from those fuckers because Casey tenants would never fucking work with him when they found out that he had been approached by Mag Properties for a donation, and he returned it to them with like absolutely not with like.
That's because there are no good fucking billionaires. Like, come on, it's not. Oh, I found the one good one that's actually progressive, and that's why he's funding my content. I'm the exception to the rule, and everyone else is corrupt. But me and my billionaire buddy, we're straight. Anyway, shout out to you, Jordan. Thank you so much for that super chat, man. Really appreciate that. And just in case, by the way, anyone's just tuning in that doesn't quite understand the context of what we're talking about, let's quickly replay the Graham Elwood video.
Disagreeing with Jimmy. If I just all I cared about was money, I'd agree with him. But I'm not going to do that. I am only going to talk about what I believe in. And if you don't believe me or you don't like me, whatever, I'm saying what I believe in. No one's in my ear. Okay? And I know Jimmy was getting money from Peter Apple, supposedly progressive. He was paying Jimmy what I was told was $5,000 a month. And then I heard this Peter Allard guy during the whole vaccine thing in 2021 told at several shows that he was paying, hey, I need you to push this anti-vaccine stuff. And several of the shows said, I don't want your money more, we're done. And Jimmy kept taking his money. That's my understanding. So there's a lot of stuff that's suspect here.
So anyway, shout out to Jordan that giving us the final scoop on that one. Again, just too many dots connected, and I don't. And it's like the anti-vax talking point is so fuck. And it felt like it came out of nowhere, and now it's like, oh shit, you guys were all getting paid to say this stupid bullshit that you never tolerated in the past, and it's like. You wonder how far up the chain that goes, right? Like, how many people were getting paid by billionaires, just like random assholes with a fortune to spend, to fucking manipulate that message. And then, like Rogan doesn't have a crowdfunded show, so you can't necessarily like reach him like that. But it's like, wow, like how many people with crowdfunded shows that are ginormous are just getting bagged for that? It makes you wonder, right? Like Jimmy is, I mean, he's big, but he's nowhere near the like biggest podcaster out there that was spreading the like ridiculous anti-vax propaganda, right? I mean, there were a lot of huge shows, right? Shows that, like, I mean, obviously we're way tinier than Jimmy. I'm not even trying to shade Jimmy, but I'm just saying, like, how far up does it go? You know, I already said I would bet my fucking whole life that Max Blumenthal also met this fucking Peter Allard. I guarantee you, bro. And for them to have the gall and the audacity to try and paint other people as like fucking sellouts, and it's so hypocritical and it's so transparent, and the fact that none of their audiences are at all concerned with that shows you everything you need to know. They're not serious. They're just like looking for they're basically just the like they're basically the online equivalent of like the Fox News or like the deranged MSNBCers. They just have a cult and they have a club, and what makes them so insufferable is they actually think that they're better than that other person. Right? Like, you know what I mean? They actually think that they've outsmarted it when it's like, no, dog, you got played way harder, and now you're paying way more money to some dude who's not doing fuck all for you, just to, like, stand up and fight the fight, Jimmy. You're... Like, if you read the super chats that people send Jimmy, it's fucking hilarious. I actually feel bad for these people because they're so deranged. Like, they're so just misled. Like, that's what starts to get me. Like, these, like, $50, like, $150 super... He just laps it up, and he knows these are people that are fucking broke. He's already making a fucking fortune, but he's still lapping up all these fucking super chats for people. You're fighting for me. It's like very Trumpian, man. It's super deranged. I mean, honestly, it shows that Jimmy has like no soul.
Yeah, dude, I swear to God, the money is never worth the kind of people who you have to surround yourself with in order to by pandering to the right wing. But then, as you said, that's going to be your audience. And every time you go do your job, you're going to have to fucking read those people's comments and look at what they have to say and realize what a cesspool you found yourself in. And that's why, yeah, I almost do feel bad for like the RBN folks, for example. Like, ooh, like, yeah.
I don't know if I feel so bad for them, but the audience people that Jimmy's
Well, I
captured
don't
also-
actually feel bad for them, but I'm just saying, like, I know that they know
Oh,
when they're online and
he
they're
proves
looking at
it.
their chat.
He's a smart guy. He
Yeah,
knows
exactly.
what he's doing. Of course.
Yeah.
And also, shout out to FDW all day. Unironically, one of my favorite movies is Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Like, I'll just put it on in the background because I think it's hilarious. And I was sitting there and I was telling Felipe, it's almost hard for me to watch this because I love this movie and I always loved Russell Brand's performance, but he's almost like like a right-wing satire of this left-wing character. We gotta do something. We gotta do something. You know, and it's just like, yeah, dude. But he's a fucking idiot, and it's so natural to him. And I'm like, man, I just think you were typecast, bro. I think he's a fucking moron that's also hilarious.
Yeah, dude, Russell Brand is crazy, bro. It really sucks to see how far he's fallen, but yeah.
Like,
I also
Dave Chappelle is a genius that I think has made some terrible points. Russell Brand is an idiot. Both of them are funny, but like I think it just shows the different parallels of like stadium fucking comedians. Like Dave Chappelle's really smart. I don't think that Russell Brand is really that smart. You know what I mean? And not like in a battle of wits, Dave Chappelle is smoking Russell Brand, even though they're two comedians that I think have like, you know, I don't think Dave Chappelle is as bad as Russell Brand, but you know what I mean? Two comedians that have made political arguments that made me like, irk and not want to like check out their content.
Yeah, I feel you. But yeah, shout out to you, man. And got a couple more super chats. Like I said, Tim Black will be here shortly. Really excited to chat with him. But we do have some super chats to address in the 5 minutes. So I hope you guys enjoyed that story. Once again, shout out to you, Jordan Sheridan, for chiming in and confirming that scoop. That's pretty interesting stuff. But yeah, thank you so much, Kevin, for the $2. Alien bodies from Peru revealed in Mexico. Hoax. Yeah, I do think that's probably a hoax, Kevin. I saw some people tweeting about that, and even some folks that I, generally consider to be pretty credible on UFO stuff were kind of casting into doubt the legitimacy of these alien bodies in Mexico. So, yeah, as much as I would love to tell you I believe in that shit, bro, unfortunately, I would be pretty skeptical about those alien bodies in Mexico.
Well, finally, we get some harmonious agreement on the alien front. Yeah, I think it's a fucking hoax, bro. I think it's a fucking hoax. I don't think that there's really alien bodies there. Do you think that, like, who do you think found those bodies? And then, like, why aren't they, like, getting on every newspaper page? Like, do you ever see the movie E.T.? What happens when they found fucking extraterrestrial?
Yeah, bro, the government came in and shut that whole fucking town down and made sure no one found out about it.
Okay.
Remember at the end of E.T.?
Yeah, that it was. Yes. Okay. So sorry. Back up. A bunch of kids found him, was what I was saying, right? And this is the year 2023, not 1980. Every kid on the block has a cell phone. You're gonna see every angle. You're gonna, And also, what's that famous meme about how if E.T. was found by me and my friends, we would have beaten him to death mercilessly with sticks? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
One
that
of
was
the
fucking
best
hilarious. Yeah. But anyway, shout out to you, Kevin. I'm unfortunately not convinced. Either. So again, a little bit of an agreement on the extraterrestrial front. I was surprised. It was funny. We were going to react to that Larry Sinclair Tucker thing, and I was going to be like, oh, this is where Gavin draws the line. If this guy found bodies in fucking Mexico of aliens, what do you mean you're going to smear this guy because of his fucking years of belligerent drug use? Like, anyway, I'm fucking kidding, obviously. But shout out to you, Kevin. And shout out to Audie the Bug Catcher. Oh, when am I getting my shirt? I've been really busy at work, so I haven't been able to catch you guys live for the past few weeks. Yeah, shirts, according to the fucking distributor company, I'm gonna get like fucking bunch of boxes. Okay, here's an aside really quick before some Black. We're not having some cool shut up. Before some Black is here. When I got a delivery today, I bought a desk finally, so I don't have to come at you guys live with my kitchen every single day. I'm gonna have a desk like a grown up. And I paid for delivery because I was like, this is gonna be way too heavy. Like, I'm not gonna be able to carry this home, and I also won't have space for it because I don't have a big car, right? They deliver it to my fucking neighbor like 2 blocks away, like on the exact other side of like, there's like 4 or 5 rows of townhouses. one of them's on 30. Like I live on Warwick Court. Some other dude has the same address on.
To be
Warwick
fair,
Court.
it is kind of hard to figure out where the fuck the entrance to your
You
town
should have
is.
called, bro. Like, just leaving my fucking desk somewhere else. Anyway, I had to haul. This desk was like, whatever 77 kilograms is, and it was in a fucking cardboard box. I think it was like
heavy.
170 pounds. Yeah. It was in a cardboard box that was flat. And I should have been able to carry it, but it was like, there was no way to get a grip on it because it was really long and flat. And it was just like a huge ass thing. And so I'm like, fuck. It took me like 30 minutes to pull the muscle on my fucking back. So anyway. I'm really hoping that doesn't happen when the shirts are supposed to get delivered tomorrow.
Oops. Yeah, that's crazy. That's a heavy desk too. My desk is such a piece of shit. So like cheap, it's probably like fucking 10 pounds.
The one from the one that's in the studio?
No, well this is like a big table. I'm talking about the desk that I have in my room that I just bought off Amazon. That's like made out of like laminated fucking cardboard essentially. You know those like really cheap furniture pieces that like they're technically made of wood, but it's really like laminated sawdust like stapled together, like the shit you buy on Amazon. Oh, I think you're muted, bro.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say I thought that table. I was like, it was kind of heavy when we moved it, but anyway.
No, this one is fat. This one is pretty big.
Oh. But anyway, it does look like our special guest is here. We're here to be joined by Tim Black of the Tim Black Show, longtime political commentator and activist. Welcome to the show, Tim. Thank you so much for taking the time today.
Absolutely, guys. What's going on? How y'all doing?
Doing really well. Doing really well.
Good. That's good. And look, for the record, right? So my camera lens is here, but my monitor's here. So if I look over here, I'm looking at your faces.
No worries.
So you know I'm really paying attention. What's up, man? How y'all feeling?
We're doing great, man. So glad to have you here. So glad to get a chance to talk a little bit. I've really been enjoying your recent content, by the way, Tim, about the Cornel West campaign. It's been such a bummer, I think, for all three of us to see some voices in progressive media or kind of left media broadly taking a sort of like unexpected stance towards the Cornel West campaign. Now, I think there are a few legitimate reasons that some people might be a little bit skeptical to immediately jump on board. I do think it's fair to say that the launch of Cornel West campaign with the People's Party was a little bit of a like suspicious, weird situation. Zach and I at the time were kind of looking at it with a side eye. We're like, really? Like, this is who you're, associating with? But since then, I think he did a really great thing, which was taking the advice and the criticism of the movement he's a part of, stepping down. And it's just been weird to see a lot of people kind of not only refusing to get on board with his campaign, but even echoing some like kind of MSNBC, DNC kind of talking points about it and the role that third parties play in our election. So really been enjoying the voice you've provided on the subject matter. And like I said, it's really great to meet you and to have you on the show.
I've probably been
Black,
kicked.
right? So, and I agree that there's been some fair criticism, right? Because you can't just miss everything and go hater, hater, hater. Hillary Clinton, Hillary. You got to give some people some credit that they have an actual position, right? And they have some belief systems. Not everybody's a sellout. Like some people just have core beliefs and they feel the way they feel. So I respect that, but I think it's the way they articulate it, right? Here, someone push back. If they have substance, right? The substance, like they have something that okay, well, I disagree with you. I still feel the way I feel, right? But at least you got good reasons. You're not just pulling stuff out the air that you heard on MSNBC or CNN. I feel like authenticity matters, right? So, yeah, I understand. Like, first of all, hey, look, hey guys, like, I met Dr. Cornel West like 3 or 4 years ago in Philly when I was campaigning for Joe Stein. And just to show you how much rumors get started, like, I opened up some of her rallies. And people still say I'm a Biden supporter. Like, these people, like, they're just, So I met him there, but still, when I heard he was running with the People's Party, I had a problem with it. And like, that's my guy. Like, we went down together. I met him down in Ohio for Nina Turner, Senator Nina Turner. So like, I'm in person hanging. I got my whole family with us. We're canvassing. We're having dinner together. So, but still, when I heard he was running with the People's Party, I went from happy to very sad about that. So I had my own concerns. So yeah, man, like. So there's no problem with people having concerns. I think it's the campaign's responsibility to address concerns that are in good faith. That's your job, right? To address things in good faith. My problem is when they're not in good faith, bro. And my problem is when people going on, and it seems like they got ulterior motives, and it seems like they're not being true to who they were 2 weeks ago or a month ago. Yeah, that's when I'm like, okay, now we're gonna do something. And for the record, I don't work for the campaign. I'm just an activist / commentator, and I believe in this campaign. And so anything I say on this show is just me talking, and can't nobody say, Tim, you shouldn't have said that. Shut up, Tim. Or no one can fire me because no one hired me. So this is all for me, and they're not responsible for this. Can we cuss on this show?
All right, say whatever the fuck you want.
And they're not responsible for the hard shit I'm about to say about some people because they frankly got it coming.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think it's kind of crazy. I mean, just to echo what Gavin said, because Gavin and I, we started the show a few years ago. We started it during COVID. We were just talking shit, whatever. One of the big things that kind of got our people to pay attention to us. We went from doing a show for nobody to doing a show for a little bit of people, right? And it was when we reacted to the movement for a people's party, little convention thingy that they did, the little digital thing where they had a bunch of people on, Cornel West included, Dr. West included. And we after that stream, we recorded another one where Gavin and I just sat back and daydreamed. We fantasized. We were like, wow, did you listen to Dr. West speak? Why did we not get this guy to run for president? He's a lifelong activist. He's Harvard graduated. He went to Harvard when he was 16 years old. He's clearly brilliant. He's written best-selling books. He got Joe Rogan to talk about racism on his show and open up about it. He can reach people. You know what I mean? People are like, this is the guy, right? He's got enough name recognition and facial recognition that people will recognize that he's not a nobody, but he doesn't give off the celebrity vibe. We were just rifling off all the pros, right? And obviously, like you said, there's fair criticism of everybody. You can find, some bits to disagree with in any conversation. Gavin and I disagree on our show all the time. It happens. But it was almost like a dream candidate. We thought it was a pipe dream. We were like, this guy's not interested in being president. He doesn't want to debase himself. He's got other things to do on the ground. He's a busy man. He's teaching. He's preaching. He's doing whatever he wants to do. So I didn't ever expect him to do it. And then when it happened, I was like, yeah, Gavin and I were stoked. Like, we interviewed Marianne Williamson on the show live, and we were interested in her trying to participate in the Democratic primary. I think that's the just and ethical thing to do, is have a Democratic primary system. But when Cornel West was like, finally, nobody is going to be able to disagree on the left anymore. We kind of like rekindled the Bernie thing.
This is stupid.
Where it felt like, okay, hey, we all disagree, whatever. Like, we're all like special, like God's children, whatever. But we have a goal to go towards, right? We're going to all get behind Bernie Sanders. We're going to get behind Bernie Sanders. I thought we were all going to get behind Cornel West, but we did not. And I guess I'm just here I'm wondering why. Why do you think that is?
07.
Wow. Hey, first of all, I can relate to a lot of what you guys are saying. Yeah, I had the same coming to experience when he announced too, because I'm like, wow, I never saw it coming. Like, I mean, of course I would think it'd be a great idea, but I didn't know it was an idea that Cornel West is going to run for president. I mean, it's so anti Cornel West because he's anti-establishment.
I've been at them.
Right? He's real tight, and brothers in arms with the Black Agenda Report. And I've got their book, and me and my wife both read it, and that's like one of the last things they would do. Brother Glenn Ford, the late Brother Glenn Ford, is get involved in electoral politics for the empire. It's like totally, opposite of what they would prescribe him to do. They'd be like, "What is?" Brother Ford would be like, "What are you doing? Hey, you gonna be ahead of this thing?" But Dr. Cornel West has his reasons, and he's explained those. So yeah, I get that. I get your point of view on this being a historical moment. And I'll say this to your question, bro. Yeah, man, I felt the same thing, but I felt that way about Nina Turner, because in the 2016 and 2020, they were like, hey, Nina's that's our girl, that's our lady, she's the soul of the revolution, and she's this and she's that. And I'm like, yeah, she's running, and they were like, so. And people that I thought were supporters of her, people that I went to rallies with, people that I'd see covering her favorably, that had her on the show, who put like videos up on their channels. Jimmy Dore put videos up of her on her channel of her saying nice things about him. When we went to the People's Summit, we were all there publicly, and they interviewed her there, and there was a lot of love between all of us. and like couple years later, all of a sudden she's persona non grata.
Armchair
So
activist.
that
Just
caused
another
the
armchair
conflict
activist.
and the fallout that you guys kind of, when you came in like 2020, that was the fallout because I was thrown, just like now, you're like, what's going on? I thought everybody would be happy about Cornel West. Well, I thought the same thing about Nina Turner. So I've been here before is what I'm trying to tell you, where it was, you know, you would think, okay, this is a good opportunity for the real left, not this shit you see on TV, not what this MSNBC crowd calls left. To them, Mehdi Hassan is as left as we get. You know, Chris Hayes is as left as they consider that really progressive. Now, we know that's not really progressive, right? We know that's not really the left, the true left. This is just the best they got on TV that's kind of close to some of our ideals. The point is, yeah, I was thrown for a loop then, but now I kind of expect it. They threw her under the bus for superficial reasons, similar that they're doing to Dr. West. They're saying, okay, you know, what about this tangential connection? There was this time she said universal health care instead of Medicare for all. Oh, that's it. She's a sellout. She's like, well, sometimes I use different words, but I've been saying this shit for 4 years. What are you talking about? For 5 years, I left the Clintons to do this. Like, I left an opportunity to hit the DNC, and they're throwing me under the bus, Tim. For what? Because I said something in a speech I didn't say it the exact same way they wanted me to say it.
How do we not tell them about it?
And I'm just noticing, bro, and look, man, I'm noticing this only happened to a couple people. And maybe I'm tripping, right? But those couple of people it happened to look like me. Both times. I don't know, like they haven't supported anybody other than AOC, you know, to this, you know, to a really healthy extent. And I'm not trying to look at it that way. Believe me, guys, like we all loved Nina. I thought we all loved Dr. West. But now that it's time to show that love, demonstrate it, go up against the powers that be, put it on the line, put your money where your mouth is.
Rich friends.
And now all of a sudden we got all this apprehension. Now all of a sudden the smear articles that we would expect coming from, you know, the corporate wing of the Democratic Party, they're coming from people that we thought loved Dr. West. And Dr. West is now championing for Biden.
Yeah. Yeah, because No, that's I totally agree with you, Tim, and it's really wild, that specific criticism of Dr. West, that somehow he's campaigning for Biden because he refuses to concede the, you know, bullshit argument that somehow Biden is more of a fascist than Donald Trump, when that's always been his analysis. That's always been Dr. West's analysis, that the Democrats do represent a lesser evil. He voted for Joe Biden in 2020. That was his analysis last time around. Clearly his analysis has changed in the sense that he's now, you know, feels it's necessary to pose a third party challenge to Biden, but his analysis was never that Trump was the lesser fascist or the lesser evil. And it's just ridiculous that now people are bringing that up as some sort of a gotcha and being like, see, he's just, you know, trying to help Joe Biden as he's running against him. And it really does seem like we're at the point now where the left is just like overly purity testing potential candidates or movement leaders. You know, I understood some of the reservations with Marianne Williamson. I was personally upset that a lot more people didn't get, you know, as excited about her candidacy as I was. But, you know, to be fair to some of her critics, she has not had the same, you know, track record as a guy like Dr. West, who's always been part of this movement. No, Marianne has been doing great activism. I'm not trying to downplay that, but I can at least understand being more skeptical of her when she hasn't really been part of this for as long as someone like Dr. West, who's always been there, always been consistent, and now somehow he's an establishment sellout. Like, what? That's insane. How are you? You know, this is genuinely just a circular firing squad now, and if even Cornel West is not pure enough for you, then that's just crazy. I mean, where is this movement going?
Well, you know, let me jump in on two things. First, let's go to Marianne Williamson, man. I support Marianne Williamson. I think that it's a requirement, right? As long as she's out there, she's speaking against this establishment, as long as she's calling out the issues that we care about, why not support her? It doesn't make sense not to support her. I don't understand all the chat. It's like she's against them, she's not with them, or she'd be getting coverage right now. Yeah. Like, whatever you think, oh, she's trying to sell a book. We've all heard the rumors. I don't give a shit if she's trying to sell a book. When she's on stage and when she's in front of people, is she saying Medicare for all? Yeah. Is she saying end the wars? Yeah. Then why would you not support that? I'm not saying you got to go volunteer for her. I'm not saying you got to go to every rally or you know, you could though. I'm saying you could, but I'm not demanding that. My thing is, what's up with all the people pushing back? You're not even, look, they're not even involved politically in anything. They're online, they're on Twitter, they're on YouTube, they're on Instagram, they're on TikTok. What the hell is that really getting accomplished, really? So she's putting herself in harm's way. She's 70 years old, going to stop after stop after stop. If she's doing all of this, and also catching all this heat from Democrats in Hollywood and all in California and all these other places, if she's willing to do all that to sell a book, more power to her, man. More power to her. You know, there are people that sell books that do a lot less. Okay, so I'm supporting that. Now, you know, the Democrats are going to do what the Democrats do. They're going to do what Democrats, you know, they're going to throw under the bus, which they're doing. I'm glad Dr. West did not run as a Democrat. But, hey, I applaud that because she's doing something I sure as hell would not have done. Now, for Dr. West, you did ask something about Dr. West. Here's a point I wanted to make. I disagree with Dr. West about Trump and Biden being totally different, so different, or that you can't call them both fascists. I agree that he has his right to have his opinion, and he has substantive reasons for that. It's not like, oh, well, I feel this way about Trump being worse just because I'm gonna put something on my ass. No, he has his own argument. He has his own sensibilities, and I feel that they're rooted in, once again, sound, sincere.
It's not to that.
Fine. I don't have to agree with everything, but as for me personally, I can't stand either party.
Was told over
My whole
a year
purpose
ago.
of doing this, Gavin, and I know hopefully we'll get to how we all kind of cross paths to begin with some shit that happened a couple of years ago. But my whole purpose for doing this, guys, contrary to what some people told you who stabbed me in the back, one Sabby Sabs who don't know me. I never met her. We've never even had a fucking conversation. You asked her.
You were right on that one. We'll give you that.
Hold on, bro. She asked you. No, you asked her. I think it was you, Gavin. Yeah, I think it was Gavin. Gavin said, are you sure? Or was it you, Zach? One of you guys said, but Gabby, I think Tim really cares about the black community. I get that sense from him. Are you sure he doesn't really care? And she was dismissive. She was dismissive like I don't. Folks, the only reason why I do political commentary is because I want black people to get something from their vote. And I'm tired of the Democratic Party scaring the hell out of black people, taking their votes and giving them nothing. I'm tired of the Democrats saying to black people, the Klan's coming. The Klan's coming. Now we got the Orange Klan coming. MAGA's coming. They're going to put you back in chains, so you got to vote for us. And meanwhile, they give us nothing but lip service. So that's the only reason, guys, why I even give a shit about politics, man. I was covering police interactions. I was covering discrimination. That was my lane. I wasn't even doing politics. It was viewers who were about your age who watched my show, guys, and they said, Tim, you got to check out this guy. I said, who? They said, Bernie Sanders. I said, I've never even heard of this guy. He said, yeah. I looked into him. This guy's damn near 80 years old. What does he know about my life? And then I listened to his policies. I said, what? Politicians talk about health care? Politicians talk about ending mass incarceration? I was not into politics. My people, my viewers that were your age, Gen Z guys, Gen Z millennials, they're the ones that put me up on it. So the only reason for me doing this, the only reason is I feel there are things that I want done from the black community that I can't get done with us just talking. Like with some things require the electoral process. Some things require politics. I'm not saying it's everything, but I feel like it's one way, it's one avenue to get some things done. So to just put a bow on it, guys. Like, yo, I disagree with Dr. West only because I hate both parties, man. I think both parties suck, okay?
Oh, yeah.
I support the Green Party. The only party I fully support. I did support the People's Party, but it was Movement for People's Party. They did not have their policies written up yet. They were just telling me, hey, we're going to start a new party. This was brand new when they first tried to petition Bernie Sanders to run. They wanted Bernie to leave the Democrats and run under the MPP. I was there with Jimmy, delivering the signatures from all the people that we've gathered. Dick Bronner, Kashama Sawant, we were all there together delivering that paperwork to Capitol Hill to Bernie's office on his birthday to try to get him to leave the Democrats and join us. So I'm gonna stop because I can keep going, man. I got so many stories, but look, I don't agree that Biden's the lesser of two evils, not to me, because I think they're both evil. It's only different like gradients right between the two. But I respect anybody who feels that way. And I think they got a reason to feel that way. It's just that I couldn't vote for either one, Trump or Biden, ever.
Oh, to be clear, I also think that both parties represent a form of fascism. I do think it's fair to say the Democrats are a lesser evil, but largely I agree. I mean, that's why I'm a third-party voter. That's why I have voted exclusively third-party in every election that I've ever, had the ability to vote in. The thing I thought was ridiculous from people like Jimmy Dore is now acting like Cornel West is suddenly being inconsistent in saying that Biden is the lesser evil, when he's always said that to be true. He's always said that the Democrats are lesser, they're not as bad as the Republicans. So we can disagree with that, as you said you do, Tim, but I just think it's stupid to try to do a hypocrisy burn on Cornel West or act like all of a sudden he's doing propaganda for the Democrats when this has literally always been his position, whether or not you agree with it.
Yeah, and if I could, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, bro.
I was just gonna pop in and say it's almost like it's wild because obviously this is our first time chatting together. But everything you said, I feel like I pretty much agree with, right? Like it makes sense. Like you know what? It's not the end of the world if you think the Democrats are like slightly like less bad than the Republicans or whatever. As long as we can march forward,
Absolutely.
like I agree 100% that what Marianne Williamson is doing is important because Gavin and I, we would always say, like, why would we not want somebody out there making our case for it? Why would we not want this woman, hundreds of thousands of listeners at her disposal to go out there and say, we need Medicare for all. It is a dire need. Joe Biden is not up to snuff. This is unacceptable, guys. We all agreed it was unacceptable then, like it's still unacceptable now, except it's worse. Child poverty skyrocketing without the child tax credit. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Willow Project, she does a great job of articulating that. Joe Biden ran on being the most, climate change serious president of all time. Opened up drilling and like obviously there's it's crazy. Everybody has their own priorities, right? I'm obsessed with climate, or I'm obsessed with this thing or that thing, like they're like that issue, right? And all those issues have value. I'm not like diminishing them. I'm just saying, like, typically on the left, like you find something that like grabs you, and then that's what motivates you. That's what gets you out of bed to like take all these laws and everything, right? But it just seems like we just like had a cohesive understanding. I brought up the Bernie example, right? Like, I mean, I didn't even know that about you, that you were there in the draft Bernie movement, that you were with Trump. Because it's crazy how the circular firing squad of the left, but it's like, yeah, I thought that these candidacy moments were when you were all like, yeah, it's about policy time, right? Like if you watch all these shows, right, they'll all say, well, personalities or whatever. When it comes to have the rubber hit the road, right? It's about policy. It's about what policies do you support, what do you stand for, who are you going to fight for, right? Nina Turner, or Bernie Sanders, are you going to fight for somebody you don't know? You brought up the Nina Turner thing, and I have fun. Gavin and I drove to Iowa. Where the fuck were we in Iowa? Cedar Rapids, Gavin. And we saw Nina Turner speak, and it was a whole cadre of like the most inspiring people that you could see. Vampire Weekend played at the end. It was like a wild day, right? But we left. We were like Vampire Weekend, whatever. Like the person who stole the show and brought the whole house down was Nina Turner. Like you're not a leftist and you're not a socialist. Listen to that woman talking about feel something powerful in her phone. You know what I mean? She's reaching people. She's reaching people that don't know what she's talking about. Like if you know what she's talking about, like how does that happen? And so I guess for somebody who's been in the game a lot longer than us, right? Somebody who's been doing this a long time. You said you weren't surprised when the Cornel West thing happened because you saw it happen with Nina Turner. And I think we were there. I think that there's no reason not to support Nina Turner in both instances when she ran for Congress. The second time was definitely more of like an uphill battle, but that doesn't mean that you don't turn around and fight for it. She's up against like insane amounts of corporate money. The advice that they were doing against her. Obviously there was a lot of JARS money that was going into that race. Anyway, it just seems how do we course correct? How do we get this ship back, right? Like, obviously, like, I apologize for, the way that you were described in that interview. I think you beat us to the punch. Sabby, we had her on the show a lot back in the day and, valued her perspective for a time, but it seems like she's, decided to take more of a, different approach to her media career than I think a lot of us are with, like, more of, like, an activist mindset, right? But how do we set all that shit aside and just say we need to have the best candidate in this race get as far as possible, right? How do we just put our eye on the ball and say, like, you don't have to like your teammates, but you have to go out there and try and win, right? Like, how do we do that?
That's the $1 million question, guys, man. That's wow. The people in the independent media, like there's this fallacy that the corporate media, the only people that have been jeopardized themselves, or they're the only people that have sold their souls. There are people in independent media who have done the same thing.
We were just talking about how Jimmy takes with taking billionaire money from Peter Allard. Jordan Cheriton told him that in the chat today. That that's billionaire money. That's the same as the shit that he blasts the First Look Media and Piero Media are for.
Yeah, Graham Elwood, it was a former, like a 30-year friend. This is, God, we go on so many places. Let me come back to Graham. Let me answer the first part, which was, how do we come together, man? And I wanted to point this out because I think the reason why I'm sitting here with you guys and you share me with your audience, which I appreciate, real talk, is because I was watching your live stream, right? First of all, I think you guys are hilarious together, and you're very passionate, right? So my wife and I were watching you one night. It was like, these are the Scooby-Doo van guys. Remember them, babe? And she remembers me calling you that, right? When we were beefing, right? But we watched. It was like, these guys got a lot of spirit, right? They got a lot of energy for the movement, man. So every once in a while I catch you, and I happened to catch you guys yesterday or 2 days ago, and you were talking about how basically that you're running into this thing. You guys do this for a reason because you want to, like you fundamentally are moved intrinsically, like to help the people, that you want to get something done for the people. You're not doing this like some people who are kind of like going with what's popular, going with it for maybe they're like under Jimmy's rule or whatever they're doing, right? You're not a part of that. And I didn't realize the chat was already over because I'm watching it late. And so I sent you guys a super chat and I told you, I said, hey, it may not pay well, but the work's honest, right? So we're not, we who do this for a reason other than just financial gain, we may not be as successful financially because we're making sacrifices. Right? Dr. Cornel West has taught me to be a better person, and that if you're in it for the people, you're in it for the right reason. That's the only reason to do this type of work. There's other shit you could do. There's other things you could play video games and make more money. I could talk about tabloid shit. I could talk about rap music, right, and make more money. Like these people who don't know us, who have this negative opinion, or they throw these things out. God bless them. They don't know. They don't know us. They're just that. They don't know us. I feel very badly that I was not able to get the Revolutionary Blackout Network and put them under my wing, so to speak, and kind of keep them from going the way of the Jimmy Dores. Don't have the resources. These guys want to make careers for themselves, and Jimmy had an open door. Now, unfortunately, it comes with a price. You gotta eat shit. You gotta pretend that you don't see that he's compromised. Therefore, you compromise your own credibility and integrity in order to be viable. They would not have a channel if it wasn't for Jimmy. It's 5 of them, and they're not doing well. How can I be gone 2 years, come back, and they still haven't passed me? I haven't even been doing political commentary. I went and talked to black people. I had to go build a whole new audience that had nothing to do with Jimmy, had nothing to do with these people that were shitting on him. That took 2 years, guys. 2 years of saying, okay, I got to start from scratch. I talked to my wife, I said, either I quit or I start from scratch. And I let all these people leave, and I created new people that don't get pissed when I talk about black issues. They don't leave when I talk black. They don't take me out of context and say, I'm physically threatening to do something physical to Brianna when I say, oh, we gonna rumble now. I'm gonna get in your ass now. Yo, I'm black, that's how we talk. These guys steamrolled me and said, well, Tim's threatening rape. Brianna's not my wife. She's not my son. And she did not stand up and say, nah, Tim's an asshole. He got crazy. He gets loud, but I've been along with Tim. I never felt nothing like he was trying to do nothing to me. So these people will fight fucking dirty, dog. They fight dirty. They don't care who they hurt. They said they made those claims. My mom, my wife, my kids, my mom, my whole family knows what I do. But back to my point, I'm off point. I'm disappointed that I wasn't able to provide some type of leadership, right, to those people so they did not have to go and deal with Jimmy's narcissistic ways. Everyone knows that they're captive, they're held captive. Like, even JB is a gay black man with a disability. And Jimmy's up there shitting on trans people and gays, talking about woke this and woke that, because that's what his audience wants to hear. And JB, part of their network, can't even really full-throatedly stand up for himself, because it'll fuck up their money and their opportunity. Because if Jimmy turns on them, all his people will remove their support of their podcast.
Yeah, I will say, JB, I mean, we had the exact opposite experience. We came up with the Revolutionary Blackout Network, right? Like Kamali Rose was one of our close friends. The show was the first dude that ever invited us on another podcast. We thought he was huge because he had 2,000 YouTube subscribers, and he had a show called The Radical Democracy Show. And then they got connected, and he was on there, and he was like, fuck this guy. Like the Kyle Rittenhouse ruling came down, and he was like, fuck Jimmy Dore. All this, and we had him on. We were like, yeah, fuck this shit. This isn't ridiculous. Like, how can you tell me you're leftist and you're defending this fucking right supremacist that went out and shot somebody in the fucking street, fucking gun, he drove across state line? It was insane. No rational way to make that argument, right? But that was when the well-started trend, right? Molly left, our homie RJ left. A lot of people left Revolutionary Blackout Network. We were one of the first shows that had Stabby on. I remember when Stabby was paying for views, it was so obvious that she'd have one video with 30 views and one video with 4,000 views. We were like, no, let's not troll her for this. Let's have her on the show. Let's try and help her build it. We were tight. I had Nick Cruz on the show so many times, right? And then it was just like a light switch. It was like, fuck these guys, these air-conditioned white boys, just weird shit to say about people that you knew, it was crazy. We went to the Medicare for All, the March for Medicare for All. Nick Cruz gave me a hug. We took selfies together, all that shit. And then it was the next 2 weeks, we had him on. We congratulating him for scoring a big debate with Destiny. He fucked up his boss debate so bad and got embarrassed, and then was scared to debate for a while. And then he got back on the horse and debated Destiny. He was a fucking idiot, and I was like, you did a great job, man. All that kind of stuff. I wanted them to succeed so bad. We need more, younger, black voices. I mean, it's a white dude dominated industry, right? I don't feel weird saying that. I do it. I like doing it. But you look at the top fucking 100 streamers, what do they look like, right? That's a problem, right? So I don't know. It was just we also wanted, we all thought we were all gonna come up. It was I don't know. It sucked. And then we threw the gauntlet down and we were fuck Jimmy Dore, fuck this shit. This is so transparent. All this shit, we lost fucking all of our Patreon money. We lost all of our subscribers. We set the whole house on fire. Gavin and I did not know how we were gonna pay rent. I was literally throwing up from anxiety. I was I quit my job for the first time because I was betting big on the fucking show. And then we were no, dude, our principles are more important for this. So yeah, it was also a real bummer for us to see what happens to our. They were Fred Hampton leftists back then, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. How were you guys able to keep it all together going through that storm, man? I'm familiar with that.
Our
storm.
audience fucking took care of us, man. We barely eked by and we built it back up. It was tough, man.
Yeah, someone was saying that what you described with your audience is basically exactly what happened to us, which is we basically just had to tell everyone to get fucked and then start over and build a new audience, which is luckily what we enjoy now, and it's the best feeling ever.
But Gavin, check this out, man. It's the right thing that should happen to us.
Yeah.
It was different for me because I had 50,000 people, 50,000 subscribers over that before I met Jimmy. I met Jimmy, I was already working with Jill Stein. I had already been on TV. I'd been on the Dr. Phil show. He didn't make me. I didn't go to him and say, hey, hook me up. He interviewed me one time on the TYT channel. And that was the Rebel channel when it was small as fuck. He saw me in Philly, and it was real quick, hey, Tim Black. He knew who I was. It wasn't like he didn't know who I was. I had already been doing this 5 years before I met Jim, right? And I'd already started making waves. So, but the fact that I became attached to him and I became the black guy, the fact I let that happen, I should not have let that happen, guys. That's my bad. I should have been hold on, man. I'm going to stay over here and keep my own identity. I'm not going to rock with you and Lee Camp. I'm not going to be the only black guy with you and Ron Picone, and you and Nick, and you and these people. There were no other black people in the space. All the black people that you see, Rob Report, Jamal Thomas, the other guy whose name I won't name since he likes to be smart, they all came through my channel. I'm the one that gave them their breaks. And then other people noticed it. Hell, I even was the first person to put the funky academic, Harami Irami Osam Freepaw. He came on my show first before he went on Crystals. right? So I was the first one to bring on a lot of people like that because I felt it was my job, bro. So that's part of my problem was I felt like as the older black guy, I gotta lead the way, man. We gotta change the left, and I'm gonna do it through my channel. And remember, it wasn't that big. It was only at the 100,000. It's nothing compared to Humanist Report. It's nothing compared to David Dole, and there's so many other people that I can name. We don't gotta go through the list. But what I'm saying is, the fact that I let myself become attached to these people, that was my bad, and it was your bad, and I just gotta say it. And it's Fred Hampton's bad that they did that because they tried to leapfrog the process. The process is you come in, you fucking grind, man. The process is I did 100 shows in 100 days. Then after I did that, I did 2 shows a day. There's no school for this shit. I did that because I wanted to get better. Because I left my job like you guys and said, I burnt my boat. This has to work. I'm not going back to working in IT. Screw that. So, and since you used it, and since you used that group of people as a crutch to kind of get started, it was smart. It was good business sense. You know, you look at it like, it's good not to start alone. It's good to have people and all this, but no.
Hard work.
At the end of
This
the day,
is BS.
if it's someone big like that, you become attached to them, then you're actually eating off of they're the host and you are the person. And I hate to put it that way, but that's the way it will be with the market. You know, because their followers are their viewers, and their loyalty is to the original host, not to you. Anybody who follows me from you guys, if I shit on you tomorrow, they're gonna be like, it wasn't for Gavin and Zach.
I don't know. We got a lot of hate watchers. You might get them sick.
But you know what I'm saying? Like theoretically, if they loved you, if they're fans of you, if I tomorrow